Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video I will create a folder structure by which we can develop Gutenberg blocks with WordPress plugin. So many of you have been requested me to how you can get started of creating Gutenberg blocks with WordPress folder structure. So in this video I will try to cover up how I prepare myself to create Gutenberg blocks by the WordPress plugin. So let's get started. So as you already can see, I have a basic folder structure where I have assets folder and src folder, and I have a plugin.php which is totally blank. So we will start everything from scratch, and inside the assets folder I have css folder and js. So into the css we have editor.css and style.css. So we have two different css for two different purpose. One is for this style.css is for the front end part, and this editor.css is for the editor part of the Gutenberg. Same goes for the JS. We have editor.js for editor for maintaining the code structure in editor, and scripts.js which will be responsible for showing everything into the front end through themes. And finally we have a src folder, and in which I have nothing, just an index.js which is totally blank. So let's get started with plugin.php, and let's start our coding by opening PHP tag, and let's add some basic commenting like plugin name. We can say WP Gutenberg block starter, and then description, let's say a test, or let's say a boilerplate plugin structure for WP Gutenberg block development, and then let's say author. Okay, let's put my name, and author URI. Let's just do the example for now, and the text domain, let's say WP Gutenberg starter. Alright, so through that we are set to say that this is a plugin. And by the way, I have already set up WordPress and this folder is already into my folder structure. So right now if I go back, go to this admin and hit a refresh, so we should see a theme that is here. So there it is, WP Gutenberg block structure. We can fix that WP. So this is the plugin that we do not have activated yet, so let's just keep it activated. Okay, so now let's move on to the other stuffs. Now let's block this from direct access. So if not defined, absolute path, then we will exit and closing the if statement. Now in this file we will create our basic structure or necessary things that's gonna need in future for the development. So let's create a final class, and let's name it WP. Let's name it your class name, like this, and it is giving expected. Alright, so sometimes this editor has some issue. Okay, now let's create a constant for maintaining the version, and let's put it 1.0.0 like this, and then let's create a construct function. So this will be a private function for us, and construct, and then in here we will define two things. First, we will be creating a method which will name it plugin constants, like this. So in this method we will store our all necessary constant that we are gonna use throughout our system, and then we gonna need another thing which we will be triggering on the plugins loaded action in this section, and our method name will be init plugin. So these two methods we haven't created, but we will create it in a moment. So let's begin with this plugin constant. So here we will define plugin constants. So we can say public function plugin constants. Now inside this we will define some of our constants. So let's do that. The first one will be the version. So we can say prefix. Always it is very good practice to use the prefix of your plugin, so that is why I'm maintaining the naming convention. So you can change it into this prefix section. So then the version, and the version will be, already we have created a constant, so we can use that one. And then let's put another one. This will be our plugin path, and for this we are going to use trailing slash it. So inside that we are going to use plugin dir path method. Alright, and inside that it under file. Alright, so and then we need to define another which will be prefix plugin URL, like so, same trailing slash it, and this time we will be using plugins URL method. This gonna accept two things. One is if you want to add the trailing slash before, and then the under file. So that's it for our plugin constants. Now let's move on into the next method that I'm gonna create. I will be creating a singleton instance for this class, so that you will not be able to create duplicate instance, which is very good practice for this kind of a thing. So let's do that, and let's create public function. It should be static. So public functions, static function, like so. Okay, and then init, let's name it init, and let's create this static instance, and let's keep it false at the beginning, and then if this instance is not true, that means it is false, then make this instance equal to new self, that is we are assigning our class here, or creating the instance, and then just return it. So I'm not gonna give a good description here, because this is a kind of a pretty straightforward thing. How we can create a singleton instance, you can search for it into the internet. It is very straightforward, so you can learn it from there. Alright, so this is our singleton instance. Now let's move on into our this init plugin that we have created. We have just mentioned, but we haven't created it. So let's create this. Let's give it like plugin init. So inside this we will create as a public function init plugin. Alright, so into this we will be doing some things later on, but let's create our next method. So the next method will be enqueuing or registering our all the necessary scripts. So let's do those things first. So let's do like enqueue scripts, and let's name the public function enqueue scripts. So this is the method that we are gonna call in here. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so now into this enqueue scripts we have to do something. Now at the beginning let's call an add action, and here we will be calling or we will be triggering or mentioning a hook which is very important in terms of Gutenberg block development, because in this hook we need to register a scripts that is related to the Gutenberg scripting, and those may be related to the React.js or any other normal JavaScript or whatever it is. We need to hook into this hook. So the hook name is enqueue block editor assets. So let's do that. And then we are going to hook a function here. Let's name it register block editor assets. Register block, like this. Alright, so and then we need to add another action, and this is for enqueuing scripts into the admin side. So let's say admin enqueue scripts, which is the hook name for enqueuing scripts at the admin end. So let's hook another function here. Let's say register admin scripts. Like so. And we need another one in terms of enqueuing the scripts into the front end. So that is WP enqueue scripts, as you should already know, and let's name it register public scripts. Alright, so now let's real quickly create these functions, so you will be more it will be more understanding for us. So let's at first let's register the block editor assets. Register block editor assets. So public function register. So we just can copy this, so we will not have any typo. Alright, so and let's create another one which will be our register admin scripts. Okay, so public function register admin scripts, and then another one register public scripts. So just duplicate this and let's do register public scripts. Alright, so now let's fill up this method. So let's start from the bottom. So this is the public scripts. That means we are going to load only the public assets. So in terms of doing that, we have this style.css and this scripts.css, which we gonna need to register or enqueue. So let's do that real quick. So we know that we can use WP enqueue script for that. Okay, and here we need to pass something. First one is the ID. So let's do like prefix public, and then the URL. So we can use prefix plugin URL. This is the constant that we have created for our help, and then we need to go to the assets and then the JS and then the scripts.js. Alright, the next thing is the version, so let's just randomize it. Okay, and then whether we want to show it into the header or the footer. We want to show it into the footer, so let's keep it true. Now let's register this style. We can do with WP-Enqueue style. So it will also take some parameters. First one is obviously the ID. Let's keep it same. So what happens if we leave it like this? When it is rendered, it will be like prefixed at public. If it is a JS, then that -js will be added by the WordPress, and in here -css will be added by the WordPress again. So we do not need to add CSS from like this from our end, but if we do that, then it will be like -css -css -js -js. So we do not want to do that, so we just leave it like that. Then WordPress will add these post fixes. Alright, so now the URL, of course, and then we can say assets and then CSS, and then I think style.css. Yes, sure enough, and then we just make it blank. We do not have any dependencies here, and then we can keep it false, and for the media is all. Alright, so in this way we can just register our public scripts. Now let's move on into our admin scripts as well. Okay, so we can just copy it, so we do not need to write it again and again. So we just we can say like this should be the prefix because it's an editor, so we can keep it editor, and let's change the script name, and we can also say editor here. Alright, so far so good. So we have done our admin registration of the scripts and public registrations of the scripts, but we left this function because we do not know from where we are going to add the scripts yet. So we need to do something before we can move or fill up into this. But let's do another thing before we go into our npm installation and React installation and other things, other scripts related things. We need to do another add action here, and it will be triggered on the init, and we can hook one function here. Let's do register blocks. So with this we are going to register the blocks when this init action hook has been triggered. So let's create our registration block. Okay, so let's do that. We can say register block and blocks, and let's say public function, and let's copy that method. I think it is, yes, register blocks, so we can keep it like this. Alright, so here we need to use a function of WordPress, and it is register block type, by which we can let the WordPress know that yes, we are gonna create Gutenberg blocks. So let's do that. So register block type, and it will accept some values. The first one is the namespace of your block, and it is very important. With this namespace, WordPress can distinguish between your blocks and the default blocks or the other plugins who has the blocks. So your namespace should be unique. So let's do like this, prefix and then blocks. Sorry, what? Okay, so block. So this prefix should be unique so that your namespace will not conflict with the others. Now the next one is an array. So in this array there are several parameters that needs to be filled out. First one is the style, and second one is the editor style, and the third one is the editor scripts. Yes, spelling is okay. Now here you need to pass only the ID of the script. So first one is the style, that means the style of the public or the front end, very front end. So we are going to use this one. So WordPress will know these scripts will be used for showing the specific design into the front end for those particular blocks. Now the editor style is obviously this one, as you can see, public prefix editor, and this editor scripts, which is the important one, but we haven't created yet. So when we create this, we will fill up this as well. Alright, so we are very good, we have a very good progress here, but as you can notice, we have created this final class, but we haven't run it or initialized it yet, so it will not run yet. So let's do that. So let's say INIT main plugin, alright, so let's create a function here, and let's prefix, and let's say run plugin, and here let's just return the class. What is our name of the class? It is WPO class. Okay, and here we need to call the INIT method by which we will run everything. So if we go there, and this is the INIT, which is the singleton instance. So this way we can create a singleton instance and it will not be duplicated, or you will not be able to duplicate this. Now finally we can run the plugin. Alright, so let's do this function to run. So let's just copy it and paste it here. Okay, so far so good. So what we have done here, we just initialized all from our PHP end, but we haven't imported our scriptural things yet, but we are very set to go to do those things. But before that, let's go back into the backend and let's see is there any error occurs or not. So hopefully if we refresh, there shouldn't be any error. Yes, as you can see, there is no PHP error, or if we inspect it, there is no console error as well. These are the warnings, that is different thing, but there is no error related to our plugin. All right. Okay, so from this part you can call it as a second part of this total setup. So let's collapse everything and let's create a let's open our integrated terminal. I'm using VS Code, so it does have an integrated terminal. You can use whatever you want. So let's do like npm init, and it will create a JSON file, package.json file for me. So let's the package name same, version same, description, let's put it blank, and the entry file is index.js, and that is why we have created index.js in our source folder. So test comment, gitbo, keywords, author, let's keep everything blank for now. So yes, we are set to go, and as you can see, there is a package.json file already we had. Now if we see or go through this package.json, there is our main index.js file, and currently we do not have any package installed. So let's do that real quick, which is a very important one to install. So let's at first let's run the npm install, or we can just do npm install our main package. So -save -dev, so which will be our dev dependencies, and the package name is WordPress slash scripts. So let's do that again. Add WordPress, then scripts. Now hit enter, and it may take some time depending on your internet speed, so let's get back when it's done. Alright, so our package has been installed successfully. So as you can see, our node modules has been added, and if we now check into our scripts, so as you can see, into this dev dependencies array, we have this WordPress scripts which have 12.6.0 version. Now if you want to learn more about this WordPress scripts, I suggest you and recommend you to go this address, developer.wordpress.org/block editor package and package scripts. So here everything you will find about the installation and the different scripts we have. Actually we need those scripts. We particularly need this build script and this start script. So let's add this into our package.json real quick. So into the scripts we do not need this test. We can start with like start, and this will be WP scripts, and then this start, and the next one is build, and this is also WP scripts, and then the build. I hope this is correct. So, okay. Alright, so what these two scripts will do, if we just run the build, then it will create a build folder, and inside that all the scripts will be bundled into a file which is called index.js, and everything you can use from that. Now if you run start, then it will do two things. It will build everything into a build folder, and it will start watching your changes. So whenever you change anything, it will be automatically build again and store everything into that index.js. So let's do that. Let's clear out everything. Alright, so let's do npm run start. So hopefully everything will work smoothly. Let's wait for some time. Yes, as you can see, everything is loaded, and you can see this library load is listening to the port 35729, but it will also watch your changes. So as you can see, there is a build folder which we have been waiting for. So inside this there is an index.js. If we open that, as you can see, everything has been stored out here, whatever you written into throughout the plugins. So what is the necessary of this? Actually, if we go to this plugin.php, let's close it up, and we are waiting to fill up this portion, not this one, this one, as you can, if you can remember. So right now we will be able to fill up this place. So let's do that. So we can say wp enqueue script again, and let's close it down, and it will have some prefix also. Let's do the prefix, let's say what we can say, let's give out our plugin name, wp Gutenberg plugin starter, like so, and then the plugin URL, of course. So prefix, and then we need to go to the build folder obviously, and then we will find index.js. Okay, so after that we need to have some dependencies, so we can pass it by an array. So we need to pass bunch of script dependencies in order to work it perfectly with the WordPress. So at first we need to use the WP blocks, and then WP editor, and then we might need WP i18n, and then WP element, I'm going to explain in a moment why we need those things. So let's just fill up first. So we might need WP components, and we might need WP data. Also we can use, okay, we can leave it like this. Alright, so why these are necessaries? These are all the WordPress scripts that is already integrated into the WordPress. So these different scripts do different things, like WP blocks storing its block related everything, editor is storing everything related to the editor, I18N, which is a localization script by which you can use the text localization throughout the site or throughout the blocks. WP elements, this contains all the elements like different kind of element that you gonna use into the blocks. Components are kind of a like text area, text, image uploader, this kind of things has been stored or coded out into this. And WP data, which is the most important one, which is stored all kind of data related things like how many blocks is there, what is the ID of the blocks, and those kind of stuff. So if you are using anything related to this, you need to have mentioned these things into your script dependencies. So that is why we have stored this like this. So now another thing, another gap we need to fill up, we need to use this ID into, if we can remember, this one was blank. So right now we are pretty set to go. Alright, so now let's go back into the backend and let's hit a refresh and hope there is no error. Let's check into the console as well. Yes, we are good here, I think. Okay, so now let's create a demo, pretty straightforward Hello Gutenberg block, so that we can really ensure that yes, our setup is correct. So into the SRC, let's create a folder, name it blocks, and inside that let's create another file which will be our block. So let's say hello Gutenberg, okay, .js. Alright, so here we will do some scripting which is very familiar to the React. It is actually a React, but maybe a revised version by the WordPress. So let's do that. Now for this I need to use some import statements, but there is many ways to use these things. Like if you want to register block type, you want to use the register block type, you can use with the const or register block type, but I like the import method or the import way. So let's do in that way. So let's do import register block type from add WordPress, not the script but the blocks. Now obviously this WordPress blocks is not available into my node module, so I need to import it or install it. So let's do that. Install add WordPress then blocks. So it will be installed, and meanwhile let's import another thing. It will be for the localization of the strings, so we can do like from add WordPress, it should be I18N. Alright, so we also need to install that. So let's get back when this WordPress block is done. Alright, so as you can see it is done. Now actually we need to install another package which is I18N. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so this package is also completed. So now let's move on to implement our register block type method. So let's do that. Not the register plugin, register block type. So at first it will accept, or we need to pass a specific unique namespace for this block. So let's do like prefix let's say prefix blocks, and then we can say hello Gutenberg block, and then we need to pass an object which will take bunch of things. First one is the title, so we can say hello Gutenberg block. Alright, and then we need to pass the icon. Let's pass the heart, and then category. There are several categories, but for now we gonna use common. In the later part I will show you how you can create your custom categories as well, and also the custom icons. And then let's keep the keywords, which is an array. So let's say hello and Gutenberg, and then hello Gutenberg. It helps when you search into the Gutenberg block search box to appear your block, so it is very important as well. Now the next thing is the attributes. Let's keep it blank, but because we do not need anything right now for our block creation. And the next two thing is one is the edit, which is a function, and then this save, which is also a function. Now into the edit we do have some more things. So into the edit we can destructure our attributes, and we can set attributes from here, right? And here we can return something. Let's for now return hello Gutenberg block, which will obviously render into our front end. And of course into the save we can destructure our attributes, and same thing we can pass here for the save method. We can just copy this out because this is a totally static value. Alright, so this is the very basic structure of a Gutenberg block, which has nothing but just a string, but we need to add it in somewhere so that it will let the WordPress know that we have created a block. Because this index.js is our main entry scripts, as our package.json said, so we need to import this hello Gutenberg JS into our index.js as well. So let's import that, and it's from the blocks and the hello Gutenberg.js. Now if we save, and as you can see these scripts has been already running up, so as you can see these scripts is run up, so everything should be okay from our end. Now it's time to check into our backend so that we can ensure that everything is working fine. So let's go back into the pages and try to create a new page, and let's open it up. Alright, so let's name the test block, and let's publish the page first. And here let's try to search our hello Gutenberg block. So as you can see, when we type /hello, our hello Gutenberg block is appeared. So if we click on that, then as you can see our text has been appeared as well, hello Gutenberg block. So if we click on update, so it should be saved with no error. Let's check if there is any error. No, nothing. Console is totally errorless. And now if we go to the page and permalinks and view the page, so our text should also be there because we have also added this into the save method. So here it is. Now you know how you can create your folder structure in order to creating Gutenberg blocks. So if you I hope this video is very helpful to you. If so, then please hit a thumbs up and subscribe the channel, and wait until I come with some other next exciting videos. So till then, keep watching.